to it, the first ever video version of the Sarcastic Gamer podcast. This is episode 12 of season 7, I think. What is this? Is that right, Lano? Is that episode 12?
Episode 13, season 7.
Episode 13 of season 7. As you can see, we have a very special guest with us today. I am here in, I was going to say Chicago. I'm in Houston, and Lano is at home in Chicago, Illinois. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
I could tell. You're so fantastic.
We're doing this all brand new, so
it's kind of fun and
interesting.
Yeah, it should be interesting. We have to get used to a little bit of the lag and stuff. But speaking of lag, all the way from Australia, where they invented lag, and they throw off everyone's first-person shooter game if you're playing with them. It's Ian Crane, longtime listener and platinum or diamond supporter of the Sarcastic Gamer podcast. Welcome aboard, man.
It's good to be here. Thank you. I'll try not to screw up your shit with lag.
That's cool. So it's been 2 weeks since we were together, since Lano and I were together. There's been a lot of stuff going on lately in the news. If you notice, we have a new format here today. But I thought we could just dive straight into something we promised on the last time that we were together, and we talked about. I committed to watching Game of Thrones season 1.
You did?
And I did.
The thing about Doc committing to things is that 95% of the time he never follows through. So this is a big treat for me.
It's actually like the first time. He's being generous with 95. But I watched the first season. Actually, so right after the first episode of Game of Thrones, I was already zonked in, man. I was ready to go. I could not believe, though, that I made the mistake of trying to watch that on an airplane. First episode.
Oh, yeah.
It's like 80 people doing it doggy style, and the head's getting cut off. There's a kid sitting next to me 2 seats over. I'm like, close. I'm like, oh my god. And then I look like the guy who's trying to watch porn on the plane or something.
Yeah, the hardest thing for me is, trying to keep the blanket over my crotch while I'm watching it and still being able to change the volume controls. That's always the most inconspicuous part of what I'm doing when I'm on a plane. But I haven't been kicked off yet. I'm very, very sneaky.
Oh my god, I love that show.
I think Sneaky Masturbation was my old Counter-Strike nickname.
Oh.
Yeah, you have to be careful of that guy because he always comes from behind.
Hello.
Good morning.
I like that auto shotty.
Yeah, I heard you can fire more than once.
That's right.
So,
very limited ammunition.
God, low-hanging fruit here, folks. All right.
Next up, fart jokes. All right.
Let's talk about season 1 of Game of Thrones. If you have not watched Game of Thrones, if you've been putting it off, this is probably not the show for you, at least up until about minute 10 of the show today. We're going to talk a little bit about season 1 and the things that occurred there. There'll be some spoilers for you. So you might want to skip ahead in the show just a little bit.
We are going to talk about, after Game of Thrones, we have some talk of Warframe on the PS4. We're going to talk about Hearthstone on the iPad, and also Ian is going to tell us some of the games he's playing in Australia. And because they're, in a different, universe, he's going to tell us about some games he played from 2005. So all that and more on this episode of the live version of Sarcastic Gamer featuring Diamond member Ian McShane.
So let's jump right into Game of Thrones. We have season 1 opens with some crazy crap. We get introduced to the White Walkers right off the bat. You see that vivid picture of that little girl hanging from the tree, and her eyes are all black and glazed over. And within seconds, people are losing their heads. It was definitely an omen of things to come in the show.
If you're Ian, are you a book reader of Game of Thrones?
Yeah, I am. I'm actually about 45% of the way through the first book at the moment. Yeah. So.
Oh, okay. So have you watched?
I'm just reading the first book. Yeah.
So what you're seeing in the very first episode is almost like word for word of what happens in the book, and
exactly.
It's kind of like the last time that happens in the rest of the TV series because they deviate. Because the book is so sprawling, and this is more of a discussion for Game of Thrones newbies like Doc, because the TV show is confined to 10 episodes a season, and the book is 80,000 pages over the course of 5 books or whatever it is, or 6 books. They've condensed characters, they've shortened plot lines, they've changed some plot lines in order to make it fit into the series. So The first season is actually the most true to the book that you're going to see.
So all the stuff that happens with Ned Stark and the Stark family and the stuff happening with those weird, creepy twins, that's all true to the book?
Well, there's some different minor changes, and Ian can expand upon that, but one of the big ones, and I'll let Ian jump in, is when Ned is talking about leaving to go be the Hand of the King, he tells Robert no, and it's actually Catelyn that convinces him to go in the book, which is different. I'm not a book reader, but I've done Reddit's my best friend, and I'm able to get a lot of the backstory on there. So,
gotcha. Cool.
Yeah, Lana's absolutely correct, I think. I mean, it's funny when you're reading the book as well, because I haven't seen the first season for a couple of years now or something, but reading the book, it just brings back all the imagery from the first season, you know. So you can almost like play it out in your mind while you're reading the book, because it is reasonably accurate. They flesh out, I think, a lot more of the backgrounds of some of the characters. Yep. There's a few more flashbacks as well to stuff which you don't see in the TV show. Like I just got up to a bit. Some of the scenery as well has changed. Did you notice that, Lana, as well? Some of the locations are described differently in the book with more detail, and they, perhaps because of budget or perhaps because of how they decide to stylize the show as well. Like I think the Eyrie is completely described completely differently in the books, whereas there's a bunch of floating mountains in the TV show, you know, and they don't really describe it like that in the book. Yeah.
I'm not a book reader, though. That kind of minutia would be completely lost on me. I know that the Iron Throne is actually a little bit different in the books than it is in the TV show.
Yeah.
So, Doc, you're new to this. I've probably seen the first season 3 times.
I've seen it twice now. I had to watch it with my wife. I got through it, and then I had her watch it, and I was like, I'm just going to get you started, and then I was like, oh, you got to watch this next part. I'm terrible to watch it with. But,
some of the interesting things that you see on a second viewing is when Ned and Kate are outside Littlefinger's brothel, and he says goodbye to her, and you realize that's the last time they're going to see each other, and that's like in episode 4, I think.
Yeah.
You know, and then other little things that you take away from it are just like the dialogue with Littlefinger and some of the things that happens with Arya that will play into the later seasons. And there's a lot of great callbacks actually right now in season 4 as to what happened, even going all the way back to the first episode. I don't know how far you guys are yet, but
I'm only up to season 2. I finished season 2, but keeping it to season 1, what do you think was the creepiest moment in season 1? The creepiest, weirdest moment of the show, or most awkward?
I'll let Ian go first.
Oh, well, the most awkward's probably when the little kids watching them have sex in the tower. But yeah.
I thought you were going to say when the kid is breastfeeding on his mom. He was like 9 years old.
Yeah, actually,
little Robin. The creepiest or weirdest scene in the show. You know, I don't know. For me, watching the show and not knowing any spoilers, and watching episode 9, which is entitled Baylor, which is the statue, which is the name of the statue that Arya hides behind for that episode, I never thought for a second that Ned was going to die. Never, ever thought for a second that he was gonna bite it. And when his head comes off, it's just like, wow, he is the head character. He's got several points of view, stories or chapters in the book in Game of Thrones, and he's fucking dead. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, it made me very sad. It hurt. It like broke my heart when that happened.
Really, because Ned is really kind of when you watch it again, you realize how dumb Ned is.
Yeah, he was an idiot. He was a big meathead. But when you watch it the first time and you see his head come off and you don't know it's going to come off, you see that and you're like, oh man, it's their dad. He's the only guy that had any integrity. And he had so much integrity to a fault. He was an idiot. Yeah. For not lying, for not playing the game, for giving the queen a chance to run. Yeah. Fought against him. But I did not see it coming either. I was excited when they all marched into the throne room. They were like the guy at the palace guard. He's like, "We're with you," and everyone. He's like, "Let's go!" And he's like, "Whoa, raw!" And then all of a sudden, whoop! And then the spears turn towards them, and it's like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah.
I was pissed.
That's one of the. I think Game of Thrones has the least amount of character deaths of all the books, actually, going through them. So you're in for a few more of those shocking scenes. There's a really good one coming up that you haven't seen yet, Doc. And I actually started watching Game of Thrones with my girlfriend, and she's not a sci-fi fan. She doesn't watch a lot of TV, but she got sucked into this after I got her to watch True Detective. She kind of trusted me. Started watching Game of Thrones, and I got her into season 3 when some crazy stuff happened. I actually filmed her watching it, and watching her freak out is hysterical. I mean,
can you get permission to share the video of her freaking out, because that would be a great thing to share in the next episode.
I would, except I made an absolute promise that I wouldn't, because she was so embarrassed that I was secretly filming her. Even though I had it all, like I totally planned it out. Like I'm sitting there, like holding the camera while she's watching it.
Oh man!
And you know, I'll just reenact it. She's like watching. She's like, "Oh my god! Oh my god!"
You know what's funny is that's about it. Really would have been. That's pretty much my reaction when I saw it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was happy when Ned died. Actually, she thought Ned's a terrible character, and it's funny because, you know, a lot of the Starks are just really they're nice. They're nice people. You know, like you let them babysit your kids. You know, but
they're too nice. Yeah.
I don't know if they should be running a kingdom. You know, it's like you know, I let them bag my groceries, but I probably wouldn't let them, you know, chauffeur my car. You know, that kind of level. They're real special people. They've been inbreeding for thousands of years. You know, after the wall. You know,
I felt like the Starks. I mean, I started off hating Ned. You know, he cut that guy's head off. We all knew what that guy saw, and he wouldn't believe him. So he cuts the Night Watchman's head off right at the beginning of the show. I mean, it's episode 1, and at the beginning, I'm like, what the hell is going on here? You're making your little son watch you cut this guy's head off, and all this stuff is going down, and it really starts to kind of. It's almost like, to me, it's like what goes around comes around. When he lost his head. It was sort of that coming full circle. He opened the season cutting someone's head off and closed the season with his own.
You know, I want to jump in here because one of the things about Game of Thrones, one of the subtexts is that, you know, breaking an oath is a very big deal in Game of Thrones. When you swear an oath, that is all that you have to live by. And when oaths are broken, that's one of the reasons why Jaime is reviled and called the Kingslayer derisively, because he was honor bound to guard the king no matter what. And even though, you know, the king ordered him not only to, you know, burn the city, but to kill his own father, because Jaime broke that oath, you know, he is not held in high esteem. In fact, he's held in very low esteem. He's known as someone who does not have honor. Even though when you come to find out and you meet Jaime, he may be one of the more honorable people on the show. You know, one of the things about Game of Thrones that the subtext is, you know, coming full circle, is that the people who break their oaths get ahead, but at the same time, there's consequences to breaking your oaths. And in keeping your oaths, you keep your integrity, obviously, and you keep your word and your bond. And people remember that. So even though bad things happen to good people, the things the bad guys do in doing those things, it will eventually come back around to everybody involved.
Well, I mean, I'm watching an example of that about to happen. You know, in season 2, what I was watching there was the guy was supposed to wed that guy's daughter, and then he fell in love with the other chick. And so he married her instead, and I just know. I mean, obviously, we're going to be dealing with that next season, in season 3.
It's going to be a huge problem for Rob because he needs the twins' support to be Bannerman in order to continue his fight. And if he does not have the backing of the twins and of I forgot the name of the Lord, Walder Frey, then you know that's it's gonna be a huge problem for him, because one of the things that you find out, and you only know in context by going to Reddit and by you know, reading the books, is that the Tyrells, who are now the Lannisters,
yeah, that's right.
They're Bannermen.
Yeah, they essentially have an alliance now, and what you come to understand is that even though the Lannisters are the richest house, or one of the richest houses in the kingdom, the Tyrells have the largest army, and they're basically the breadbasket of the Seven Kingdoms. So when you have the richest and the largest army at your back.
Mm.
You know, season 3, you'll come to see that Rob has to make some very tough choices about how he's going to continue his fight in the War of the Five Kings. And and hopefully I would love. Well, we really haven't talked about the TV shows at all. I mean, we see 1 through 10. The first season is just the setting the table for the War of the Five Kings.
Right.
Yeah. And what you see in season 2 is Stannis's kind of rise to, you know, an ascension, his attempt to take the King's Landing.
Yeah.
And then he fails. He ultimately fails in the Battle of Blackwater, which apparently is very different in the book. In the book, the Stannis's fleet is led into a river, and then the fleet is then blockaded in this river by a large chain that apparently cuts off the army, so they're not able to escape. And then they set off the wildfire in the river, where all these ships are condensed together, and they all end up getting destroyed.
That was a spectacular explosion. One of the best TV movie explosions in the history of explosions.
Are we ranking explosions? I think it's the best green explosion ever, by the way. It's my favorite green one.
Explosion in my pants.
Yeah, there you go.
What do you think about? Okay, let's go back around the horn again. So we talked about creepiest moment. Who was in season 1 the death that you were most like awesome, like the most awesome death, like either because it was cool the way it happened or most deserved? Ian, why don't you go first as our guest?
I think this is an easy one. It's something Lana didn't touch on. Is that parallel with Daenerys and the dragons and how they bring that into season 1 as well. You know, I mean that's how season 1 ends, right? Is with her waking up in the flames with the dragon eggs, and they're just about to hatch, and that's sort of an ongoing parallel. I think that was probably the coolest death. Is that right? Where Drogo throws he pours the liquid metal on the dude's head.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Viserys. Yeah.
And he just Oh my god, that was so good because you hate that guy, right?
Yeah.
You hate that guy, and you know that he's probably going to die, but you don't know how he's going to die. And I think it's the end of one of the episodes, and he just picks up the pot of liquid gold, and just like pours it all over the guy's head, and I'm like, that's even worse than beheading him. It's just like I've never seen that before, and they just melted his head with gold. You know what I mean?
That's a hot pot too to melt gold that fast.
Yeah, there's two things. There's 2 things that are really important about that scene. Number 1 is the unexpected nature of it, because you know that's kind of the first big death. You know, I think Robert comes after that. So the second thing is, and they don't really get into this in season 1, is that there's this magical part of being part of their family, the Targaryens, in that in each I guess new lineage, in every generation there's a dragon.
Yeah.
The dragon has certain magical abilities. One of them is being immunity to fire, and Viserys calls himself the dragon. They don't explain what that means. They don't really get into that, and that's a shame, because one of the most important things is when Viserys gets that dumped on top of him, is that's not expected to hurt him. But it ends up killing him, and that's when Daenerys realizes that not only that he's not the dragon, but that she probably is the dragon.
Yeah. That's that was going to be mine. Was the goal on the head? I would have to go with my second place one. Was actually at the jousting. I'm sorry, not the jousting competition. Where the what's his name? The big guy with the the Dothraki, where he reaches into the guy's throat and pulls his gizzard right out of his throat, like when when he kills that guy when he stands up to him. That was awesome.
My most shocking death would be the mountain that rides horse after he loses the jousting match. I didn't see that horse death coming at all.
Oh yeah, that was disgusting. That was so disgusting. Oh my god.
Cuts the head off the horse. Yeah.
Oh my god, when he did that, I was like, God, no.
Yeah. And it's like, come on, you big baby, don't blame the horse. Come on now.
That's a hell of a sword.
No horses were killed in the making of the episode,
All right, so first season, Doc. Who's your favorite character after the first season?
I was just going to ask you that. So actually, my favorite character was how do you pronounce his name? He was the dancing instructor, the sword teacher.
Oh,
Silvio or Sorio? What's his name?
Syrio. Yeah, he was awesome. I just liked that showdown with him at the end, right before. When Ned fell and Ned realized he'd been betrayed, and he was in there and he fought like 6 knights with a wooden sword and and that whole line of not today. And maybe you guys can help fill in the blanks for me. But in the movie, or in the TV show, they didn't actually show him die. They showed everyone else who dies. You see them die.
Yeah.
They imply that he's dead, but I'm wondering if I'm going to see him again.
People that watch the show and are current will know the reference when I say Marin fucking Trent. And that's Marin Trent is the guy that goes after Sirio and attacks him there.
Oh, okay.
There's a reference to him in season 4. It's pretty funny.
Okay.
So, Ian, favorite character from season 1.
Favorite character. Oh, I want to say Arya Stark, actually, because I think she gets pretty badass, you know.
But she doesn't get badass in season 1, though.
Yeah, she was still a kid.
That's true. Yeah. No, I still think she's up there, man. Yeah, I'm gonna go with her. In hindsight.
You want to answer that real quick, Ian? We'll just wait for you, buddy.
He's got to go to work. It's 5 a.m. where he's at.
Damn. Favorite character for me is Tyrion. I think he's got a lot of great moments. His trial by combat in the Eyrie is one of the best scenes of the whole first season. You know, with Bronn, it's just fucking great.
That was awesome. And also one of the most terrifying jail scenes in the history of TV is being thrown in a jail cell on the edge of a cliff.
One of the most terrifying non-rapey jail scenes in TV history.
That's it.
Speaking of that, can we flash back to, I guess it's episode 2, where the Targaryen girl gets married off to the guy and taken out to the coast? I mean,
okay.
Was that rape? Was that a rape that occurred there?
It looked pretty rapey.
Yeah. In the book, it's completely consensual. It's actually really different. And he doesn't do it on the coast. He does it like on the reeds. I don't know, on the side. He doesn't do it from behind either. Yeah.
Yeah, in the book, she apparently, one of the things that's different about the books and the TV show is that all of the kids, including Daenerys, they're all way younger.
Yes.
Daenerys is like 13 years old in the book.
Yes.
Arya also very young, 13 years old. Joffrey is 13 years old, like very young. Mm-hmm. They're all 13 years old.
John's like supposed to be 14 or something, you know.
Jon Snow's real young too. So it's that part of the story just is really weird. And so you've got young teenage Daenerys Targaryen and Khal Drogo, the most feared warrior in Essos. And she attempts to seduce him because he is kind of standoffish about banging her on their wedding night. So it's totally different in the books.
Yeah. Wow. But then after the wedding night, he comes and sleeps with her like every night in the tent, and he's having sex with her like every single night, and she's getting more upset. And then she talks with the handmaiden or something, and the handmaiden tells her that he'll only respect her if she takes control of the situation, and so that's when she turns the tables on him and starts,
she starts learning reverse cowgirl. Starts learning.
Exactly.
Let me show you who the dragon is.
All those Dothraki. Man, that's it.
All right, so we could go on and on about Game of Thrones. Definitely, we're going to cover we talked a little bit about season 2. We'll kind of keep adding that into the show as is appropriate. Love to get your feedback. Jump onto either the comments in our video here on the YouTube channel, or into the comments of the Facebook thread for this, or even the comments of the post on our website. Tell us what your favorite death scene was in Game of Thrones season 1, your favorite weirdest, most awkward moment, and your favorite character, and we'll be happy to discuss that with you as well. I want to shift channels here for a second. Why is Ian here with us today? Why do we have this guy here? It's because we owe him, actually. He's not only a Diamond subscriber, but when we had our big fundraising push last year, he stepped up big time and made a $100 gift to the show, and that was just so appreciated. And this is us finally making good on that. And I just want to give you a round of applause and say thank you so much again for all you've done for us, buddy.
We're going to give. Oh no, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I've got nothing else to say, Lano. It's good to be here, man. It's after 5, 6, 7 years of listening to the show every week. It's good to be here. Yeah.
We're gonna do 60 seconds of uninterrupted praise of Ian while he's actually here, face to face. So, Doc, you're gonna begin the timer.
I am rolling time. You may begin at this time. Go.
You know, one of the things about Ian that people probably don't know is he's from a long line of McShanes. They're actually called the Handsome McShanes in Australia.
It's not even my name.
Come on, I'm getting to it. You guys are cutting me off.
Sorry.
Try cranes, Lano. Cranes. C-R-A-N-E, like the bird.
I'm getting there.
It was getting there.
Sorry. McShanes, go. Rhymes with crane, yeah, go.
He's from a long line of McShanes, the Handsome McShanes. And they had to kick him out of Clan McShane because he was so good looking. And he had to change his name to Crane from McShane.
Because people would crane their necks when he walked by to see him.
That's right. You guys didn't give me a chance to finish it. And it's all blown. You guys screwed it up for me. I had a whole monologue up.
Oh, wait, keep going.
No, let's talk about video games, and then you can send me some nudie pics later. Doc, you've been playing Hearthstone on iPad. Did you listen to the show last week with 8-Bit?
No, I have not listened to last week's show. Did you guys talk about Hearthstone?
No, but what we did was a headlines joke about how Magic the Gathering was suing some lesser companies for making Magic the Gathering clones, and we discussed about why they weren't suing Hearthstone because it is a straight-up Magic the Gathering ripoff.
So are you telling me that I could actually, if I grasp Hearthstone, that I would have no problem grasping Magic the Gathering then?
It's the same thing. Ian, do you agree?
Yeah. It's Magic Gathering a bit more complicated though, I suppose. Hearthstone seems like I haven't played Hearthstone, man. To be honest, I've just seen. No, I haven't played it. It just seems like a very simplified card trading game. You know what I mean? Maybe.
Yeah, it's a simpler version of Magic the Gathering.
It's Magic the Gathering that I can understand because I actually tried to play Magic the Gathering on the Xbox app. Before, and on the Xbox version of the game, it came free for gold or whatever. And I went through the entire tutorial, played through the whole tutorial session. At the end of it, I won, and I couldn't figure out why I won. I couldn't understand what the hell was going on. Hearthstone, I sat down and played the very first game and started to pick it up. And then by the time I finished my 4 tutorial levels or whatever it is, I was all about it. I was completely enveloped in this game. I love it. I just started playing yesterday. I played about 60 games of it yesterday.
Wow.
My kids are playing. My son Max is whooping up on adults on the iPad version of it, which I love the online aspect that no one can really talk to you. You can only send like a couple scripted words back and forth. So it's totally safe for him to play. And I got my 9-year-old and my 10-year-old doing math. They're doing strategic and critical thinking, and they're doing collaborative, like helping each other. I mean, I'm a big fan of Hearthstone already.
So, who are you playing as in Hearthstone?
I mostly play as the mage, usually, because that's what you start as, and so I kind of already had a nice lead on that. But when I play against my kids, I usually try to pick an underdeveloped character just so I don't have to, I don't have quite as many cards at my disposal to try to keep it even. Except I played my son as the mage, and my 9-year-old kicked my ass, like fair and square.
Fair and square, you're pretty terrible at video games. But I want to talk more about Hearthstone. One of the things is, well, here's how it's different than Magic the Gathering. You can attack directly the other avatar, okay? Which in Magic the Gathering, if there are other characters on the table, you have to fight those characters first, which makes it a little more complicated. Now, there's ways to do that in Hearthstone. In Hearthstone, you've got each character has their own individual power. They may also have a weapon that they can use. There's 2 different ways they can attack. And also the way that you get mana in Hearthstone is very simplified. You basically get a new mana every round. So as the rounds go on, you're able to use more and more complicated attacks, which only differs from Magic in that in Magic you pull mana from your hand. And there are different kinds of mana. So there's like 5 different kinds of mana, which is like red, blue, green, white, and black. And there's only one kind in Hearthstone. So it's my view that Magic the Gathering, that Hearthstone is kind of an easy mode clone of it. And I'm actually really surprised that this game exists. Now, I don't know what the legalities are between Hearthstone and Magic the Gathering. It may just be different enough to allow them to do that, or it just maybe be because Activision and Blizzard has so much goddamn money, that Magic Wizards of the Coast, Wizards of the Coast aren't going to sue them. I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
But it is fun. It is fun. I find it to be a little too simple.
Well,
But
I like it. Maybe I'm because I'm simple. Go ahead, Ian.
Oh, no, I was going to say just this whole story that Lano's talking about reminded me of like King.com with Candy Crush trying to sue other companies that were using the word King and Candy. You know, I mean, why are they actually going after them, Lano? What's just because it's a similar type of game, they've decided to.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
You're the legal guy. You're the lawyer. Yeah.
Well, that's exactly why. When you have a product and other people attempt to use your product to make money off of something that you build, you know, you've got a legal right to defend that. I mean, it would be no different than if somebody took a game that Sarcastic Gamer made, you know, when we were still making songs 10 years ago, and they used that song for, you know, like a TV show or on a commercial to sell a product. You know, that was a song that was created by Sarcastic Gamer, and if they're going to use that for a profit, then we're entitled to a share of those profits. In the same way that Wizards of the Coast would be entitled to any profits derived by games that are made that are a clone of their games. I mean, obviously how derivative it is legally significant.
Yeah, that's what they're gonna. That's what they'll be arguing in court. It'll be interesting to see it go forward. Hearthstone is like one of the most played games on Twitch right now, and that's usually a pretty good indicator of what is being played in general.
Some of the good things about Hearthstone is that it's free. You can play a lot of it for free. You can play it endlessly for free, which is kind of cool. It has multiple characters that you can. They all play differently. They all have different kinds of cards, and then you can also create your own decks, which is something that Magic doesn't let you do specifically, which I like about Hearthstone. I think that's one of the reasons why Hearthstone has really taken hold with people, is because you can create your own custom decks, which is something that Magic the Gathering previously had not let you do.
So I think one of the things about Hearthstone that's confusing to me is it's just to expand on something you just said, is that there is no compelling reason to spend any money.
Yeah,
right.
I am playing this game, and I played all day yesterday, and usually any free-to-play game, by this time, I'm being hit up for an extra life or for something. Like there's something I need to do, or I have to wait 2 hours to play. This game, I could just keep playing this into infinity, it seems, and unlock things and never pay a dime.
Well, I think getting new cards, getting better cards, some of the more rare cards that you can use if you're really into the competitive online aspect of it, you want to spend a couple bucks to get some packs of cards. You know, I think that appeals to people. You know, especially as you play Hearthstone, you're kind of tired of dealing with it. Or if you get your ass kicked by somebody with a wicked card, and you're never going to see that card if you don't pay a little bit of money for it. But I think Hearthstone is kind of made to be so that you don't have to pay to win, which is another thing that people really like about it, but you can pay a little bit of money to get some of these rare cards. But to be perfectly honest, I haven't spent any money on it, so I could be wrong about that, but it's my understanding that you can spend real money to buy cards.
Yeah, I mean, you can. It's 40 packs for $40 or something like that. It's like $1.99 for one pack, or 40 packs for $40.
Well, you know,
they have some cool. They have the epic cards and the rare cards and the some medium level of that. I've only gotten rare ones on the ones that I've unlocked for free, but I'm enjoying it. It's fun.
And I think Warframe can kind of speak to what is happening in Hearthstone. Warframe is also a free-to-play shooter, or free-to-play game. It's a shooter, though. It's a third-person shooter. I've been playing this nonstop for the past week. I really love this game. It is very similar to the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer, which a lot of people like. It's a third-person cooperative shooter where you're playing against the computer AI only. There is some minor PvP aspects to it, but I'm not high enough level to partake in that. But the missions that you're able to do are all versus the computer. So you're going in with a group of 3 other people, and you've got your Warframe, which is the name of the suit that you're wearing, and you do these missions. And as you go through these missions, you collect money that you can use to buy things like blueprints, which can help you make new things. The problem is that this takes a lot of time. So if you want to get 25,000 credits to buy something, you're going to have to play 4 or 5 missions. Now you have to buy the blueprint. As you play these missions, you gather resources. And there's 4 different types of resources in every of the solar system where you can play. So in Jupiter, they have different things than on Earth when you're doing missions on Earth. And so you get these resources, and then you use the blueprints to create things that you can use. You can change how your character looks. You can get new weapons. You can get new melee weapons.
Oh, that's cool.
And the melee weapons are a very significant aspect of this because you're essentially a space ninja. Okay, you start off with you're a space ninja, and you fight against these whatever they are. And so, in order for you to look, the base model that you start the game off with, you can choose from one of 3 different Warframes, okay, for free. And they also give you a little bit of money. You can essentially buy one weapon, one really good weapon, without having to spend any money on this game. Okay? But then if you want to get new weapons, or if you want to buy new Warframes, because there's essentially every Warframe plays differently. It's a lot like League of Legends in that the board doesn't really change, but how you play it changes based on who you're playing. Okay. So right now I'm playing a Warframe called Mag. It's a female Warframe, and she's got some minor abilities that, to be honest, I think are kind of basic, and I'd like to have I'd like to try out a different suit because I see some crazy things.
You're saying you're not a fan of her anymore. You guys have kind of grown apart.
I actually broke up with her via text message because I just didn't think it was that serious.
How much did you pay her?
It's funny that you should ask that because I spent about $40 on this free-to-play game over the last week.
Yeah. Wow.
I bought
this
a bundle.
Is on Xbox, right?
It's on
Xbox.
I don't know if it's on Xbox. I play it on PS4.
Oh, okay, yeah. I've seen it on 360 out of beta. Yeah.
It looks real pretty. It's really fun. I spent about $40, and what I got with that, I was able to buy some weapons. I bought some character customization things, which I wish I hadn't bought. And it's funny, I bought the money right away to get things. I had no idea what I'm doing in this game. This game is very deep. There's a lot going on with it. And I just started buying shit.
Let's start.
Let's see what this does. Let's see what that does. What does this do? And then, like, half the shit I bought, I'm just like, oh, I'm never going to fucking use this. I'm so mad that I spent real money on this. I probably spent like $20 on bullshit.
Yeah.
And I wish I had that money back now, but...
like Gears of War where you buy the camo paint for the gun, and I'm like, really? Why do I need a bright pink gun? Like,
Yeah. Well, it depends on who you ask, I guess. But...
All right, so Warframe. Let's make sure you check that out and share your comments on the show and the YouTube.
I really like it.
Facebook. Lano likes it. Ian shared with us before we started the show today that the latest game that he's played, as far as a AAA game goes, is Stick of Truth. And I don't believe Lano's played that. I know I haven't played it. Tell us about Stick of Truth and what you thought of that game. Are you still playing it now?
Yeah, I am. I mean, I'm playing it partly because I don't own any Xbox One games. I do have an Xbox One. I've got an old PSP and I've got a 360. But I felt there's still a lot of games coming out on 360. Up until say E3 or something.
Sure.
Stick of Truth is one of those games. So that was only on last gen consoles, I think. I don't think it's on PS4. It's only on 360 and PS3 and PC. Yeah.
Tell us about it.
If you like South Park show, it's just like watching a show. Like, I mean, the graphics are good enough now, and they spend enough time on it and delayed it that it's just like watching a 20-hour episode of South Park.
that's what we always wanted. You know? 20 hours of it.
Exactly right. Exactly. I mean, you guys are fortunate because you get the uncensored version, right?
Oh, that's right. I forgot you live in an upside down world where you're not. They tell you what you can hear.
Well, there's a bunch of criminals down in Australia. They got to censor what they have. I mean, come on.
That's we're founded on the back of criminals, right? But you know what's funny about the censoring is, because it's only cutscenes that they're censored, and because it's sort of critical to the story, they couldn't really cut it out without neutering the story and making it sort of discontinuous, right? So they've slapped a dirty big image of a koala crying over the top of the censor. And and if you're in England, it's a picture of the Queen crying with a cup of tea.
Oh, that's funny.
And they've actually got different sense.
I wonder what it is in Germany.
Yeah. Like Adolf Hitler crying. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. But what's really funny is, so I'm just talking about the bits that are censored because they're the bits where you're getting probed and all the rest of it, is that because it's kind of a cutscene, you can play that over and over and over. So there's a button in a certain part of the game where you press it and it plays a certain scene, but that scene's been censored. So every time you press that button, it comes up with the Australian censorship image.
Well, that sucks, man. I'm really sorry to hear that. So
Yeah.
basically, you can't tell us what the truth is.
No,
You watch
no
20
idea.
hours of Koala Bears trying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, but look, as a game, it plays really well. It plays like a 2D platformer. It's not really an RPG. A lot of people have been saying it's really good RPG and stuff. It's more of an action adventure game, where you've got the whole city of South Park and you walk around, and it's sort of like a puzzle platformer with very light RPG elements.
Really interesting.
Yeah. So most of the levels load, and they're just like 2D platforming areas within the city or within the buildings.
Yeah.
There is actually a day-night cycle as well, which I wasn't expecting. But it builds into the story, so you don't really have any control over that. It just at certain points in the story it'll become nighttime, and then that sort of initiates certain things that happen at nighttime, and then it goes back to daytime as well. But I mean, it's pretty much got
dinner,
every
bedtime. Like what? What is it initiating?
Yeah. Well, when he goes to bed, some really crazy shit happens. So
Cool.
that's when you start getting raped in your sleep. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Well, thank you, Ian.
They didn't
No,
take that out in
good.
Australia. Bad
No.
words, fine. Like child rape, that's staying in, by the way.
Well,
Way
I
to
don't
go,
know.
Australia.
If you pick a character from South Park of the last 17 seasons, I think it probably appears. Like it probably pops up.
Wow.
All the way back to like even I think Chef, the character Chef who was out.
Yeah.
Like yeah. So they couldn't bring him back because
Isaac
the
Hayes.
voice actor,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a falling out, but they used his sound bites
I
right
think
at
he's
the end
dead.
of South Park. Yeah, he comes back as a zombie.
No, I mean I
And
think
they-
he's
they
really
have all
dead.
these-
Like
No, like
Oh.
as in, not
Oh.
video game
Like
dead.
the
Like
actor. Oh,
yeah,
like
like
dead.
he's with Jesus dead.
Oh. Well, speaking of
don't
Jesus,
cry,
he-
children.
Oh, yeah. Actually, Jesus is one of the special characters that you
Yeah.
can summon in the game. You get these tokens, right? You get these tokens where you can summon special characters to fight for you in the battles, and the battles are turn-based, so it's a little bit like Final Fantasy-style battles, where you have a team of 2 characters, and you can swap out your support character at any time, and you can verse up to, say, 4 other characters. And it's on a timer, so it's turn-based, but you have a certain amount of time to block. So when a character, say when an enemy does his attack, you can block it if you're quicker. But you can summon special characters like Jesus, and Jesus will come in and just blow everyone away with his machine gun and does like his Matrix move.
Of course.
Like that. It's honestly, if I was gonna get you guys to play it, it's just purely for the way it's written and scripted,
How would you
it's
know?
just
really?
so irreverent. It's just so irreverent to walk around the city, and you go up to the pastor, and the pastor gives you a quest to find Jesus, and he gives you this whole speech about how you have to find Jesus inside yourself, and then you go to the church, and Jesus is hiding behind the pews, and you have to play hide and seek with Jesus, and then you find Jesus. And this is a whole mission just about finding Jesus.
That's great.
That's great.
It's
Stick of
great,
truth.
yeah.
All right, so there was another bit of homework that was issued the last time we were together. Last time we were together,
Yeah.
I agreed to watch season 1 of Game of Thrones. Lana agreed to finish FTL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How'd that go?
I played a ton of FTL. I had to change to easy mode because I can't get anywhere in that game on medium. So I wanted to ask you this. I got to the last star system. I fought the mothership. I beat the mothership, but that wasn't the end of the game. Like I could still move around, and then I got attacked again by the mothership, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? I already beat this damn thing, and then it killed me because I was so beat up in the previous fight.
So you got to read when he takes off. Don't just hit continue like I used to do. You read. What happened is basically you shatter his wings off, and then you fight him. He's a smaller mothership, and you beat the wings off that, and you fight him a third time, and the third time is the final battle. And each time, so the first time you fight him, The first time you fight him, you're fighting him sort of standard, sort of a standard fight. The second time, he's put all of his power into drones, so there are drones everywhere doing all kinds of stuff to you, so you have to fight those. And then the last time, he's got a super weapon that you're going to have to go up against, and so you need to be well shielded and defended yourself. So.
Fuck this game. I'm not going to ever beat it. It's too hard, man. I don't know what to do. It's too hard,
It
man.
is hard,
It's too hard.
I'm wondering
what you're actually saying is that Doc beat you at a game or something, you know. Or Doc actually finished the game.
It's true.
Yeah.
I'll bear that scarlet letter.
Every Doc has his day.
You know, I've also been playing Wolfenstein on PS4.
Oh, tell me about it.
It's in the Wolfenstein games.
Yeah.
It's you start off in like quasi World War II, and there's no multiplayer. I still bought it anyway, and I was gonna wait. Because this game is ideal for waiting 6 months when it goes half price.
Right.
But here's the thing. I love these Wolfenstein games. I love the last one, and it's made by Bethesda, who makes the Fallout games, and it's made by id, who makes Doom and whatnot. And I know Carmack's not there anymore, but I still like that company, and I want to support this game. So I went out and bought it day one, and it's been getting pretty good reviews. I played through about an hour of it, because to be honest with you, Warframe is like taking over my life. I even stopped playing Dark Souls, and yeah, it's so fun, and. The thing about it is it looks pretty good on PS4. I know they made earlier versions of it. And, man, as a PS4 owner, I cannot wait until they stop making these multi-platform releases that go back to the old gen stuff, because it's like, what am I getting for my money, But the game does look pretty good. It's got some real derivative shooter thing.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
We lost Lana for a second there. That's okay. We'll wait for him to rejoin us here in just a moment. We just have his headshot right now. But so while we're waiting for Lana to rejoin the show, we will Ian. This is your chance to talk. This is your platform to share with us. Tell us what anything you want to say. Your uninterrupted airtime for being on the show, and our gratitude for you being such a great supporter.
Oh, mate, what can I say? I had so much stuff I wanted to say when I saw you face to face for the first time and met you, but no, like, and then you actually get here and it's like, what? No, it's just really nice of you to let me on the show, man. I mean, I'm one of those guys who's been listening to you since the original Sarcastic game back 7 or 8 years now. I think, is that right?
Right. Yeah.
2006, maybe. Yeah. I mean. Can we talk about Extra Life at all, or?
Yeah, we can talk about Extra Life. This is your time while we're waiting on Lana to hopefully join us.
No, that's cool. I mean, obviously, Extra Life is one of those things that brought us together a little bit, I suppose. When I contacted you, and wanted to bring Extra Life to Sydney, to Australia, and one of the reasons I did that was because the hospital is just down the road from where I live, and it's the only one I think in Australia that supported like that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say. I enjoy listening to you and Lano, and this is like a culmination of things to finally be on this show after 7 or 8 years, and to still be talking with you guys as well after 7 or 8 years. Because I've done some radio before, I've done other shows, and you know how that works out sometimes with people, and yeah.
Well, you've been around for a while, man. I was wondering if you had a favorite moment in the past. There's Lana. Lana's back.
Sorry about that. I got a phone call.
Oh, that's okay. Well, while you were out, Ian was just kind of sharing one of his favorite Sarcastic gamer memory. I was about to make him anyway.
Should I get the tissues off this one?
Yeah.
No. Not for up here either.
No. My favorite moment was when you left on us. So
No. I saw that coming.
Yeah,
Which time?
Yeah. Poor guy. All right. Well, all right, Lana. You were right in the middle of something, so finished up talking to us.
Wolfenstein, yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, look, I want to support those guys, and I bought the game, and I've been playing with it. There's some odd shooter conventions to it. They make you press a button to pick up stuff, which is annoying. So like when there's shit getting dropped everywhere, you have to.
You have to go hit the button every single time.
Yeah, every single time. So I'm just like literally walking over shit, like hitting the button, you know, like trying to pick stuff up.
Yeah, that's kind of old school. Yeah,
that is old school, and that's one of the things they say about it. But you know, I will talk more about it next week because it gives me something to talk about. But if there are Warframe players on PS4. On Lano Lives, all one word, on Warframe. I've been playing it a ton. They give you bonuses for logging in every day and whatnot, so
all right,
I'm totally hooked.
So if you want to play Hearthstone with me, I'd love to play. My Battle.net ID is Rainmaker, RAYNMAYKR. I'd love to play against you on that. And Ian, how can someone wave their stick of truth at you or something?
I'd like to wave my stick of truth at you.
Yeah.
Right in your face.
Yeah. That's how we say hello in Australia. Yeah.
I'd like to beat you with it. Yeah, there you go. That's funny.
All right, Ian. So any contact?
That's probably totally true too. That's probably totally true.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we're primal like that. Xbox Live ID is Death Knight 333. So Death Knight one word 333. Yeah, that would be the best.
333.
I think so. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, with that, it's time to end the show. I'm hoping our intro music's working. We're trying some new technological stuff here today. Can we hear it?
I can hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to wrap up the show today, and we're going to give Lano the last word, as we always do, until we talk again next week. Lano, it's all you.
You see this guy, Ian, that's talking to us? This could be you if you're a Diamond subscriber. So get out your checkbooks and write it in to Lano.
Get out your stick of truths.
That's right. And your checkbook of truth, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, guys.